We're joined now by political analyst Professor Lesiba Teffo for some analysis, providing us, with an in-depth understanding or ahead of that address by the party president, Cyril Ramaphos. Also quite critical because we're headed towards elections this year, and he joins us now. Prof, a very good morning to you. Thanks indeed for your time. Appreciate you here on the program as usual. How important is the delivery of this January 8th statement for the ANC's President Cyril Ramaphosa, in particular because this is an election here, and perhaps he might use that platform, to try and campaign for the ANC?
Yeah, greetings to you and to the viewers, etc. Look, it's almost a ritual, or it is a ritual of no consequence to many today. I'm saying this precisely because I have attended many of those in various capacities. And I've come to realize that this has lost value because even die-hard members seldom attend. Even members of the executive. If today you were to go to some of the malls, you'll find even cabinet members and even those yesteryear would go to some that's not caring at all even to watch the proceedings. What went wrong? Perhaps that's one the question to be engaged. What is Samkel telling me and you? He says, I'm out there. It is now almost 11 o'clock. The president must present, I hopefully by 12 o'clock, in the stadium, which has at least a 43,000 carrying capacity, is relatively empty. What does it tell us?
So what went wrong?
Maybe they will tell us.
Yeah, perhaps let's go there. What went wrong? You say that, this January 8th statement has lost its momentum. Indeed, Samkele is telling us that the stadium is not packed to capacity. We're hearing from the ANC that people are still outside. Of course, we will. But what went wrong? What is it? And perhaps we could also delve into, what we're seeing currently as this January 8th statement is to be delivered by the party's president. There is a lot of division within the African National Congress. There's a lot that is taking place. The developments over the past couple of weeks surrounding the former ANC president, as well as the former president of the country, President Jacob Zuma. Those are some of the issues that the ANC is grappling with at the moment as it delivers this January 8th statement.
Griselda knows as much as I do what went wrong. And it is no longer for Griselda to tell the world what went wrong. It is the members of the ANC who are telling us today what went wrong. When yesteryear some of us said, that day will come when you would want to do the right things and it would be too late. And by then, people shall have voted with their feet. They never took us serious. They are lecturing me today. They are lecturing us on the ills that beset their own party. They didn't listen. But if you ask me further, I would say they know that in 2002, if they had listened and took advice of Dr. Van Zyl-Slabbert, that they should amend the Electoral Act, which some of us said was unconstitutional, they dared not to listen until the Constitutional Court pronounced otherwise. They know if they had dealt with the porous borders, if they had addressed the question of migration, perhaps when they look back, they would still be having a respectable number following them. They know that had they dealt with cadre deployment and appointed people on merit, if they allowed meritocracy to triumph kleptocracy, they know for sure people would still be following them. They equally know that state capacity in the traditional sense, where the homeland system have units to take care of the infrastructure, be it repairing even just the desks in the schools, the potholes in the township, the gravel roads. There were people there dressed in yellow colors that were employed by the municipalities and the state. I'm saying even the homeland system did much better than the comrades are doing today, simply because there were systems and the work ethic was much higher than what it is the case. So it's not for me to tell them where they went wrong. They know, and they are lecturing me today that had we listened to some of you guys, we wouldn't be where we are.
How much damage control
Stop
then?
the tender system.
How much damage control then, Prof?
Let me make this.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, the tender system, that is a Frankenstein that must be dismantled. The tender system, just build state capacity. Just have people, if there is an electrical problem, get the people who can go and fix it. If there's a problem with the tar road in the municipality, they will still have the remnants of the old infrastructure that just needs to be resuscitated and then carry on. It is the tender system that has killed the ANC, that has brought this country to this level of decay, because the comrades are fighting for tenders rather than service to the people. I say that without fear of contradiction. They know if they get rid of the tender system, you don't need a middleman to do certain things. But there are areas where indeed you need exceptional skills where you can go on tender. But really, just to deal with the potholes, you take 3 months to get somebody who can do that? Yes, what can be done? Please let them see the difference. They will see people coming back to them. I don't have to rehash what the right things to be done are. I'm saying it in the negative, but equally saying if you do this, the dividends will be seen in a few months, if not years' time.
So what does the ANC president then need to say to its members and supporters with everything that you have mentioned? Is there room to be able to, I guess, do damage control? Obviously, he will use the platform to campaign and to talk about some of the positive things that the ANC has done. But is it enough? Because we are in an election here. I guess, South Africans are watching to what he will say. Even though he's the ANC president, he's the president of the country as well. What can he say? What should he say on that podium today?
Well, look, unfortunately, his currency has lost value. It doesn't matter what he says. He's no longer the Cyril Ramaphos of yesteryear. Right, because that must be considered. And I say this with a heavy heart because I'm one of those who really said he deserves better than what he got in the earlier days, but he has failed us dismally, I would concede. I mean, this is the man who's still trying to convince the courts of South Africa that cadre deployment is the right policy. So let him go there and say whatever he will, but you can fool the people up to a certain point. There comes a time in the affairs of men when they decide that enough is enough. In politics, once they vote with their feet, it's always very difficult to get them back. Why are we having this proliferation of political parties? It's an indictment on the ANC, perhaps an indictment also on the D.
To what extent, are we likely to see these divisions within the African National Congress, affect its performance in the upcoming election, in particular because we've had senior members of the ANC leave the party or have left the party or have been somewhat kicked out of the party. I'm making reference to Ace Magashule, who was, previously the engine, if I can, of the party as Secretary General. You've got the former ANC president and president of the country, Jacob Zuma, who says he's still in the ANC, but is not campaigning for the ANC, is now with another party. There is just so much that is happening within the African National Congress, and you're likely to see some members of the ANC go either way.
Yes, you see, again, it takes you back to my point. What happened that warranted this proliferation of political parties? And almost all of them, one way or another, they voted or they were members of the ANC. There's no doubt that there will be an electoral cost come elections this year. There's no doubt about it. You can try to be clever, smart, and polemic about it, but the bottom line is, yes, the end is well and nigh. And I'm one of those who say, let them lose power, but still come back, at least in a modified form, because we still need them to play a role, but certainly not as dominant as they had yesterday. I know that we tend to underestimate former President Zuma, but he's coming through like a tsunami. He is, and he's a wily politician. He's a chess master. He studied the situation, and he is going to inflict, no doubt, serious harm, if not mortal harm. And I think that is his objective. What comes next, he doesn't care, but he wants to come even with those that he thinks have caused him much pain. Whether it is certainly not to the good of the country, certainly not. But I still believe that let him say as much as he can. Maybe he will make it, maybe he will succeed, but best wishes to them. But I wish, at least with no unclear terms, that they can be modified. There are good men and women, Griselda, in the ANC, as you and I know. And I stand here and I say to you, I'm proud of the ANC when it comes, or my government, when it comes to how they handle the Palestine question. Yeah. I'm proud of Dr. Naledi Pandor. Yeah. I'm proud of Dr. Motsoaledi in his attempt to deal with the migration problem, and many others. It's not that all is lost. It's not that there is nothing good that they can do or they are incapable of. Let them just deal with kleptocracy. Let them be honest with themselves that it is about the people of South Africa and not about themselves. But it's almost there now on a looting rampant because the end is well and nigh. Unfortunately, sad, and sad indeed.
Prof, we're going to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed for your time, Professor Lesiba Teffo, just giving us some analysis, of course, ahead of that January 8th statement, which is to be delivered by the ANC President Cyril Ramaphos in Mbombela. We'll keep taking you to Mbombela. That's where our reporters are stationed. They'll give us an account of what is taking place on the ground. We heard from the ANC. These are live visuals as well, as that stadium has some of its supporters that have already gathered there. Samkele Maseko telling me some of the supporters still outside. Dr. Malinga, of course, they're entertaining a part of the crowd there ahead of that January 8th statement. Certainly the president of the ANC would need to say a lot about some of the challenges that are taking place at the moment. We'll certainly hear in terms of what the ANC has done, some of the positives, and I'm sure he's likely also to speak about where some of the improvements are also expected, where the ANC can do much better, but very critical as the statement comes in the year of an election here in South Africa. Very interesting to hear what he will have to say ahead of that. Obviously, he would use this platform to campaign on behalf of his party. We'll take you live to Mbombela just very shortly, once again, as soon as those proceedings get underway.